First, we're going to discuss the product of powers property and how to use it effectively. The product of powers property is telling you how to multiply two like bases with different or the same powers. The first step is to make sure you have the same base. In this case, we do. So we're going to write that right over here. Step 2 is to add your exponents. So we have an exponent of 2 and an exponent of 3, which is equal to 5. So our final exponent is 5. Here we have two monomials multiplied by each other. The first step is to break apart your monomial. I like to do it like this because it makes it easy to see all my variables and numbers. Our next step is to find any numbers. Here we have 3 and 4, and to get rid of them. 3 times 4 is 12. Move on to your next. Here we have x, and here we have x squared. So we're going to follow what we did before with our product of powers property. Drop down your variable. Take your exponent. So here we have 1, and here we have 2. 2 plus 1 is 3. Add them together for your second step, and bring it down. Next we have y. So y to the second power and y to the first power. So follow the same step. Bring down your y. Then add your exponents. 2 plus 1 is 3. Next we have z, which is z to the first power and z to the third power, which 3 plus 1, z to the fourth power. And that's your final answer using the product of powers property. The next property to know when working with exponents is the power to power property. The first step is to look for your exponent outside the parentheses and distribute it to each part of your monomial. Now, since it is a distributive property, we're actually multiplying our exponents instead of adding them like before. We have 3 to the first power times 2. And then we have x squared times 2. Our second step is to multiply our powers. So here we have 3, 2 times 1 is 2, and x, 2 times 2 is 4. But we're not done yet. If you have a number to an exponent, convert it into just a regular number in standard form. So 3 squared, 3 times 3, 9. So our final answer would be 9x to the fourth. Let's look at another problem. Our first step is find our outside exponent and distribute it to all coefficients and variables. So 5 to the first power times 5, x to the third power times 5, y to the second power times 5, and z to the fourth power times 5. Okay, then we have 1 times 5 is 5. Bring down your variable. 3 times 5 is 15. 2 times 5 is 10, so y to the 10th. And 4 times 5 is 20, and z to the 20th. Now don't forget, we don't want to leave any number in its exponent form, so we're going to convert it into its number standard form. And that would be your final answer. 3,125 x to the 15th power, y to the 10th power, z to the 20th power. And that's our power to power property.